Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you've been curious about switching from Windows or Mac OS to Linux, you've probably heard of Ubuntu. It's one of the most popular and user-friendly Linux distributions out there. In this video, we're going to dive into Ubuntu 24.04, the latest long-term support release, and cover everything a beginner needs to know to get started. We'll look at where to download it, which version you should use, installation options, and a tour of the desktop environment. Let's jump in. First things first, where do you get Ubuntu? The official source is the Ubuntu website. Once you're there, you'll want the Ubuntu desktop version. As of now, the latest long-term support, or LTS, release is 24.04, codenamed Noble Numbat. LTS releases are great because they get updates and support for 5 years, making them super stable for everyday use. You'll see options for both the current LTS and potentially a newer interim release. For beginners, the LTS version is highly recommended for its stability. The interim release is 25.10 and is only supported for 9 months. That is 9 months of updates and security patches. Released October 2025, so support ends around July 2026. The standard support for Ubuntu 24.04 LTS ends in April 2029. So this is the standard Ubuntu 24.04 with GNOME as the desktop environment. The one I showed you earlier and the one we shall look at in this video. For most beginners with modern PCs, the standard Ubuntu with GNOME is the way to go. However, there are also Ubuntu flavors. Now, this can be a bit confusing for newcomers. Ubuntu has many official versions which are called flavors. Each flavor uses a different desktop environment, which changes the look, feel, and some of the features of the operating system. Which one should you use? Well, it depends on your preference and your hardware. Like I said, the main version uses the GNOME desktop, which is what we'll be looking at today. It's modern, sleek, and polished, but it can be a little resource-intensive. If you have older hardware or prefer a more traditional Windows-like interface, you might check out flavors like Ubuntu. Uses the XFCE desktop, which is lightweight and fast. Ubuntu, even lighter using the LXQE desktop. Great for very old computers. Kubuntu uses the KDE Plasma desktop, known for its extensive customization options. Okay, once you have the download, how do you install it? You actually have a few choices, and the method you pick depends on how you want to use Linux. In the description below, I have a link to a detailed, step-by-step installation guide. I won't go through the entire process here, but here are your main options. Installing on virtualization software. This is the safest way to try Ubuntu without changing your main computer setup. You can use free software like Oracle's VirtualBox or the more professional VMware Workstation Player. It creates a computer within a computer. Dual boot with Windows. This lets you choose between Windows and Ubuntu every time you start your computer. It requires partitioning your hard drive and can be a little more complex, so make sure you follow a guide carefully. Windows Subsystem for Linux, WSL. WSL lets you run a full Ubuntu command line environment directly inside Windows 10 or 11. This is perfect if you want to use Linux for development or server tasks while still having Windows for everyday applications. Alright, assuming you've got it installed, let's take a tour of the Ubuntu desktop. This is the GNOME environment. When you first boot up, you'll notice a clean, minimalist interface. Over on the left, you have the dock. It's like the taskbar in Windows or the dock in Mac OS. You can launch your favorite applications from here, and running apps will have a small dot next to them. You can customize the size and position of this dock in the settings. At the very top, you have your status bar. On the left is the Activities button. Click it or press the Super key, that's the Windows key on your keyboard, and you get an overview of all your open windows and workspaces. It's a great way to manage multiple tasks. In the center is your clock and calendar, and on the right are your system status indicators for Wi-Fi, volume, and power. Clicking here also gives you quick access to the main settings menu, where you can log out or shut down. You can even quickly turn on dark mode from here. At the bottom left of the dock, there's a grid icon for Show Applications. This opens your app drawer similar to the Start menu in Windows. You can search for apps here or organize them into folders. The default file manager is called Files or sometimes Nautilus. It works much like Windows Explorer with a sidebar for quick access to downloads, documents, and network drives. Now let's take a moment to explore the Settings app. And honestly, this is where Ubuntu becomes super friendly for beginners. When you open Settings, everything is laid out cleanly on the left side. No confusing menus, no hidden options. It's all organized into simple categories. First, you've got Appearance. This is where you can change your desktop wallpaper, adjust your accent colors, tweak the dock position, and of course, turn on dark mode. And trust me, Ubuntu's dark mode looks so clean. Next, you have Bluetooth. Connecting headphones, speakers, keyboards? Super easy. Just switch it on and pair like you would on your phone. Then you'll see online accounts. This is great if you use Google, Microsoft, or Nextcloud. Once you sign in, Ubuntu automatically syncs your calendar, contacts, and files with your apps. You've also got privacy and security, where you can control permissions for your apps, screen lock settings, location access, and diagnostics. Ubuntu is big on security, so all of this is in one simple dashboard. And of course, there's everything else beginners want to tweak: Wi-Fi, display resolution, sound settings, power options, and even customizable keyboard shortcuts. Basically, if you want to change how your system looks, feels, or behaves, the Settings app is your control center. One of the most important apps you'll use in Ubuntu is the App Center. And think of this as Ubuntu's very own app store. This is where you get almost all your software. And the best part is, everything here is free, open source, and safe to install. When you open the App Center, you'll see a clean layout with categories like productivity, games, audio and video, developer tools, and so much more. If you're coming from Windows or Mac OS, this is going to feel super familiar. Just browse, click install, and you're done. At the top, you've got the search bar. This is where the magic happens. Want a browser? Type Firefox, already pre-installed. Want a torrent client? Search for QBitTorrent. Ubuntu will guide you through installing it. If you need media apps like VLC, image editors like GIMP, or popular tools like OBS Studio, Steam, Visual Studio Code, they're all right here. What's really great is that everything you find in the App Center is vetted and secure. No pop-up ads, no shady download links, no weird installers. Just click install and Ubuntu handles everything. Dependencies, updates, background setup, completely automatic. And yes, LibreOffice comes pre-installed, so you already have a full Office suite ready to go on day one. You can open Word documents, Excel spreadsheets, PowerPoints, no problem. Overall, the App Center makes getting the apps you need incredibly simple. Whether you're a student, a developer, a gamer, or just browsing the web, you're covered. Now, let's talk about the terminal. This is where Linux really shows its power. And listen, don't panic. I know a lot of beginners see the terminal and think it's some hacker-level tool, but honestly, once you try it, it's super simple and incredibly useful. The cool thing is, you don't have to use the terminal every day. Ubuntu works perfectly fine with just the App Center, but learning a few basic commands will make you feel like a pro, and it gives you more control over your system. Let me show you some super beginner-friendly commands. Sudo apt update. This checks for new software updates. Think of it like refreshing the Play Store or the App Store. Sudo apt upgrade. This actually installs those updates, keeps your system fresh and secure. If you do not want to use the terminal or command line to update your system, you can also use the graphical software updater. You can also install software using the terminal. Just type sudo apt install VLC, for example, to install VLC Media Player. Changed your mind? This command removes VLC cleanly with one command. Using the command line is fast, clean, and it's way more efficient than downloading installers from the web. Check out the video in the description to learn more about Linux commands. Ubuntu actually has a built-in firewall called UEFI. But here's the thing. It's not enabled by default. Yes, it's there, but it's sleeping. Now, you can turn it on using the terminal, and you can manage everything with commands. But let's be honest, not everyone wants to type commands all day. So instead, it's much easier to just install GUFW, which is the graphical version of the firewall. It gives you simple on-off switches and easy options without touching the command line. Perfect for beginners. So you can install it from the Software Center, or you can install it using the command line. To enable the firewall, just toggle the status button to on. And that's your beginner's guide to Ubuntu. We covered what Ubuntu is, where to download it, which flavor to choose, installation options, and a full tour of the desktop environment. If you found this helpful, hit like, subscribe, and drop any Ubuntu questions in the comments. I reply to all. Links for downloads and installation guides as well as other Ubuntu videos are in the video description. Thanks for watching, and welcome to the world of Linux.